Our faculty respondent will be speaking and not singing, as I understand it. Join me in welcoming Dr. Kristin Lucken of the International and Global Studies Department and the Sociology Department.
This spring, I had the pleasure of reading Desert Roots on the eve of its publication. I was immediately struck by the powerful narrative of the Karbasi family who faced exile from their homeland and a precarious future in the United States. This snapshot of the migration experience through one family's eyes illuminates the challenges and opportunities faced by generations of newcomers to the United States. Like the waves of immigrants who came before the Karbasis, like the waves of immigrants who came before them, the Karbasis' forced exile in the wake of the 1979 Iranian Revolution places them in the liminal space of the newcomer to America, caught between two cultures, two histories, and two futures. Many of us recall Ted Koppel's 444-day countdown during the Iranian hostage crisis of 1979 to 1981. This event left America holding its breath while waiting for its 52 American compatriots to be released from captivity. In the midst of this media blitz, Iranian refugees like the Karbasis struggled to find their way in the United States. They went to school, they joined sports teams, they made friends, they founded businesses. At the same time, anti-Iranian discrimination was prevalent in a country where religious toleration is proudly proclaimed by its constitution. Noted historian John Hingham reminds us that nativism in America cannot be confined to a specific time or place, or in opposition to a particular group. It is part of this country's history as it continually negotiates its national identity when newcomers are incorporated into its fold. With the passage of the Immigration and Nationality Act of 1965, the United States opened its doors to an unprecedented number of immigrants from Asia, Africa, Latin America, and the Caribbean, including an estimated 25,000 refugees arriving in the decade following the Iranian Revolution. This influx of newcomers since 1965 has profoundly changed the cultural demography of the United States. Growing ethnic and racial diversity has complicated the concept of a homogeneous American middle class or mainstream culture, as the boundaries of the nation expand to include new ethnic and religious groups. Increased religious diversity challenges the nation to find space for the new faith communities in its religiously pluralistic model. While Catholics and Jews once were the newcomers requiring incorporation into the religious framework, room is now being made for Hindus, Muslims, Buddhists, and other creeds. Peggy Levitt notes that recent celebrations of Diwali and Eid at the Obama White House suggest that religious diversity is supported at the highest levels of the US government. Yet, while religious liberty is engraved upon the nation's founding charters, de facto discrimination experienced by newcomers over time is also well documented. Looking back at America's not-so-liberal past, Jews, Catholics, Mormons, and other religious groups similarly face challenges finding their place at America's multicultural table. We recognize contemporary versions of the Karbasi's tale. America, in a post-9/11 world, maintains a conflicted view of Islam, with nearly 6 in 10 adults claiming that Muslims face significant levels of discrimination in the United States, according to the Pew Research Center. Moreover, Iranian Americans as an ethnic group have been found to experience higher rates of prejudice than other immigrant communities of equal socioeconomic levels and high levels of human capital. Desert Roots brings to life the complexities embedded in the long-standing attachment to one's homeland. This plays out in the lives and hearts of Mitra's family. After almost 30 years in exile, Mitra's elderly father unexpectedly decides to go back to Iran as his health begins to fade. Upon their return from exile, they soon realize that Iran has turned the clocks back in time under the restrictive rules of Islamic Republic. While immigration scholars agree that most first-generation immigrants maintain ties to their homeland, their children, the second generation, often vary in the strength of their homeland attachments and patterns of integration. As this poignant story unfolds, we watch the Karbasi children forge unique ethnic identities and dissimilar relationships toward Iran and the United States. One of Mitra's brothers, whom she mentioned, Kambiz, faced anti-Iranian discrimination that was so prevalent that he fully rejected his ethnic heritage and his family name in order to embrace his newfound American identity. Mitra's eldest brother ultimately chose to support the new direction taken by his homeland. Meanwhile, Mitra, who is the phantom narrator in this family tale, is caught somewhere between her country of birth and the new land where she is raised. Her choice to marry Hadi, an Iranian American whose once religious traditionalism exemplified all her father opposed. This relationship provided Mitra with an opportunity to embrace her ancestral heritage in order to live life as a bicultural citizen. Desert Roots reminds us that those living bicultural lives serve as the bridge makers, the cultural translators for the rest of us. In this age of globalization, bicultural citizens find themselves forever trapped in liminality, or as one student put it, always feeling like the man in the middle. Yet often they demonstrate their strength and resilience through cultural fluency that spans borders and translates meaning for the world around them. Mitra Shavarini poignantly reflects the hardships she encountered as the child of a domineering father whose life is divided between two continents. Hovering as a shadow figure throughout the book, we would at last bear witness to the ascent of a young woman whose personhood comes into full bloom just as her father's life is fading. Like the strong gossamer cloth for which Mitra Karbasi's family is named, the personal accounts captured in Desert Roots are layered, one upon the other, revealing patterns of love, loss, and stubborn optimism beneath the freshly woven fabric of the family's Iranian-American life. Harkening back to an era when merchants crossed the Lut Desert by way of the fabled Silk Road, Mitra Shavarini beckons us to follow her family's journey to a new land and back home again, compelling us to care deeply about its progress along the way. Thank you.